Hi guys, welcome to a creative session. So we started our creative process with being a facilitator for a group of dietitians. We received a challenge. Our challenge was innovation is focused on ideas for product and of service for the consumer, and innovation is focused on the topic sustainability, which is trending in the supermarket business. We are supposed to facilitate a group of girls and guide them in hope to get some inspiration for our final design challenge. We started with sending the invites to the girls via email. First, we made contact with them via email, but it was a bit too long and they didn't respond. But then we sent them a formal invite, a physical invite. And after a while, they contacted us. We informed them the location, the time of creative session, and we also asked them what their favorite food and drinks and anything else that they want us to bring for the session, because we wanted to establish a better connection with them from the start. We went then and created a list of how might we question to see what is best to suit this challenge. Between all of them, we picked the best, which was how might we design exciting products or service that will have less footprint for the world. Shortly after that, we picked a few methods that will suit the best for our target audience. We picked the methods from different sources. We look at sites like creativeproblemsolving.com. We also use ucdtoolbox.com because the methods there are easily and concrete explained for us. We also did research on other websites, but we found that these are the best suitable for the girls. For the divergent phase, we chose the purge, excursion, brainstorm, and visual connection. And then for the conversion phase, we pick our hits and evaluation matrix. And after that, we had a small optimization phase. We also made a checklist, a plan of action during the day, so we don't lose sight of the time and we don't get stuck during our own session. And now we're going to explain the method that we chose for this session.
We started our session with an icebreaker. The meaning of this technique is to set the mood and get the creative juices flowing before the group starts with the real creative methods and techniques. In order to do so, we started with the charade using an app called Guess Up and chose an easy topic called animals. After the icebreaker, we introduced the participants to our how might we question. How might we design exciting product services that will have less footprint for the world, and explain to them what they will be doing during this creative session. Before we started with the diverging process, we used the method purge. This method is good because it gets all the easy ideas out without any judgment or jumping to any conclusion. Because we wanted to bring all the participants to the same page, we asked them to think about all the exciting solutions or ideas towards our topic. After finishing the purge, we moved on to the first diverging technique called excursion. This technique puts participants into other people's shoes or situations what they would most likely haven't encountered in their real life. We made a meditation excursion for the participants and told them a short story about the situation in Far East. We asked the participants to imagine the story while they were listening to it and to write down all the ideas what comes to their mind afterwards. For our second diverging technique, we chose brainstorming because it's an easy to do technique where there is no wrong or bad answer and it creates a lot of ideas in a short amount of time. But our agenda was to get the participants on the same page. We tweaked this method and asked the group to not just write down the first idea, what comes to their hand, but also focus more on writing down the more crazier or more far-fetched ones. Our last diverging technique, we use visual connections. Visual connections is good because it's easy to spark emotions and through emotions ideas about the how might we questions using this technique. We tweak this method by not just showing them pictures and asking them to write down whatever idea comes to their head, but instead show them parts of movies related and non-related to the topic to spark emotional response. For our first converging technique, we used hits to narrow down the lot of ideas generated from the previous diverging sessions. HITS is almost like dot voting, but the big difference is, with HITS, the participant is required to only choose the most interesting, intriguing, or innovative ideas. We ask them to put their votes next to the ideas from all the diverging phases, but to get the most meaningful answers, we also ask them to write next to their votes why they chose that idea. For the second and final converging technique, we used the evaluation matrix because it's a systematic way to analyze the most useful ideas in a grid and determine which one is the most suitable in the same time. Before the participants could put the most meaningful ideas into the grid, we asked them to mix and match the previously generated ideas and only after that put them into the grid. Before we finished up our session, we asked the nutrition students to show each other the outcomes of their matrix and talk a bit over that. We asked them if they are satisfied with the outcomes as part of the optimization phase, and that it turns out it created an unexpected ID boom. The flow of the first session was, with the icebreaker, we wanted to jumpstart everybody's brain to think more creative. By using the purge, we tried to bring the whole group to the same page and immediately drop the participants into an unfamiliar situation using an excursion. By this time, everybody was understanding the topic and were thinking similarly about it. So what we wanted was to generate a lot of ideas using the brainstorming method. With the last diverging method, we strived for more emotional response and for more deeper thoughts, and we thought the best way to get it by using visual connections and showing the participants not only pictures but scenes of movies. At this point, the participants already gathered a lot of ideas. To narrow it down to the most useful ones, we used the converging method HITS to let people determine which of these ideas are actually usable. We wanted this last converging method to narrow all the best ideas down to a final one, which could lead to a meaningful solution for the how might we. So we used evaluation matrix. To make sure we got the most out of the session, we asked the participants if they're satisfied with their outcomes, and if not, what would they change as part of the optimization phase. These methods were tweaked to be more simple and chosen to fit the session with the nutrition students because we knew that these people are not designers, and we tried to make the session as easy and in the same time fun in order to get the most sufficient results.
So for the day of facilitating the session, we first scouted the room a few days ahead. It was a small room compared to what other people had in the class. Like a small room would give up a better connection with the girls, and we wanted to maybe sparkle more meaningful ideas from them. We brought all the tools that we needed for the session, things like Sharpie, big papers, A4, A3 paper, and sticky notes. During this time, we made sure that we had 10 minutes for each method. We monitored the time using our laptop, but we also kept time using our phones. We put music in the background to set the mood, also guiding ourselves using a checklist that we made in advance.
It's not green?
I have no
It's a
idea.
color.
Like it's a color?
It's a color like the Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yes.
Red?
Yeah.
Cola.
Red.
Red?
Red?
Time's up.
Time's up.
It's gonna maybe help even more. It's called excursion. That means we're gonna take you to a meditational ride somewhere. Like we're gonna tell you, like I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes and just go with the flow of the story. And when you're yeah, like if you can imagine like better with open eyes, of course, like open your eyes as you feel like. I'm gonna tell you a story, and when it's over the story, I would ask you guys for like 8 minutes. You have 8 minutes time after to write up all the ideas which came to your mind because of this story onto the papers in front of you, onto these A4 papers.
So after the story.
After the story. So first focus on my voice. Yeah. Relax, relax.
He's gonna guide you guys to like a
I'm gonna
story.
guide you like the meditation, exactly. So close your eyes and listen to my voice. We are gonna take you to a journey to the slums of India. You are standing in the middle of a square, looking around and seeing all the garbage, plastic, and pollution around you, on the streets and on the nearby canals. Now, open your eyes and imagine this could be in Europe in 50 years. Let's go on.
gap between rich and
Which country is this?
Lagos, I think. Laos.
Laos?
Laos, yeah. If it's easier, you can just put like a dot on the ID what you like. So for example, like you put a dot here and then you put the post-it next to it with the Y, like just so it's clear that it belongs there.
Wie heeft dit opgeschreven?
And the first question is, are you satisfied with the outcome? Like, are you satisfied with the outcome of the ID that ID won that race? Yeah? You guys?
No, I think not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have like extra 5 minutes. Maybe you can show your idea to them. And
Yeah, maybe they can help you.
They can help you.
The small bottles, they won't give you anything back. So you will easier buy the bigger ones, which contains less plastic. Okay? Snap je?
After the session with the girls, we got a lot of ideas to work on. We then made a plan on what the best way to work on a creative session. We decided to look at the girls' board once again and pick the best ideas from which we can see here. Those were the ideas we used to continue with our own session. We found the methods again on ucdtoolbox.com because they were very clear and we saw that would fit the best for us. The methods we chose were vote dots, brainwriting, and evaluation matrix. We tweaked the ideas to make it fit for us, as we will explain later during this video. We separated our creative session in 2 parts. We did one part before the autumn break because we wanted the idea to sink in us and so we can have time to think about it during the break. And after the break, we used the matrix to vote and rate which was the best idea. We used the same matrix method as the girl because we wanted to see if our outcomes will be the same as the girl's outcome. It turned out it was the same case. The idea we finished with wasn't the same as the one of the girls, but it was about packaging plastic. We're very happy with the outcome because it fits right with our Hamabi question.
We started off our session by looking at the outcomes of the girls' session and we looked at their best ideas to determine which ideas are the best ones with dot voting. Dot voting is a method using markers or stickers in order to determine a winner. We spiced things up by adding scrum poker to the exercise to get the most useful ideas. I chose this method because there were so many ideas and it's an easy and sufficient method to narrow down ID flow. From the outcomes, we made a grid to start the brainwriting. Brainwriting is a method aiming at aiding innovation processes, but to get the most out of it, we tweaked it so we were not working on it separately on a paper, but together at a board. As our last technique, we chose evaluation matrix because we wanted to see if we get the same or similar outcomes as the nutrition students did. We tweaked the method by only adding to the grid the best ideas from the brainwriting. From the evaluation matrix we chose a winner and from that ID we made our final product for the pitch. These methods are the most suitable for us because they are more advanced than the ones used for the nutrition students and we tweaked them to get the most suitable outcomes.
With the outcome of a creative process, we decided to work on the idea of no double packaging. Insights that we have gathered is that plastic is bad because plastic stays and that Dutch people don't buy more than they need. So they're very cautious of what they're buying compared to other countries that they only buy the cheapest and the biggest. Okay. It was very important for us to use some of the result of the session with the girls because that formed the core value of our design process, which it was decreasing plastic waste. So our take on the solution was a product that will trigger cautious Dutch consumer to buy it while not changing the integrity of the final product. We decided that it should be on the packaging itself then. Hope you guys enjoyed. We had a great time working on this project.